What the world needs now. I'm going to start with a riddle that I wrote. See if you can figure this out. You sing about me. You write poems about me and to me. There are books and there are movies that honor me. And you sometimes use aspects of me to get what you want from others. You even hurt yourself and others in my name. Yet, you also use aspects of my being to bring new life and beauty and wonder into our world and into your personal world. You may use a part of my nature to bring healing, forgiveness, reconciliation to troubled relationships, and to bring the experience of harmony and peace where there is discord and fear. You even get your ministers to preach about me on Sunday. But the truth is, rarely does anyone truly fathom all that I am and all that I can be if I were given full and complete expression in you and through you in the world. Many do not know that I hold much deeper mysteries, and the depth of my wonder is so great that it can never be fully grasped with the mind. It must also be known with the heart, because I am present at the very heart of all things. Little by little you grow, as you grow and you mature spiritually, I reveal more and more of myself to you if you want me to. You do have choice in this. I am what the world needs now. What am I? Who am I? Love. But, yes, love, but who and what is love? You know, we think it's a lot of things. We express love in many ways, but there is that level, that depth of this thing called love that is much deeper than what we normally express. And what we understand in unity is that love is not a feeling, it's not an emotion at all. You know, it's a spiritual gift. It's a spiritual gift that God has placed within each of us. And it is our wonderful job to learn how to express this gift. And we're learning. We express kindness and compassion and forgiveness to those around us and hopefully to ourselves as well. And this is learning little by little more of what this love really is. Now I'm going to share a situation here, and you can tell me whether this is loving or not. A woman and her husband were out shopping all day, and then she suddenly realized that he was missing. So she got out her cell phone and she called his cell phone. And when he answered, she said in a loud voice, "Where the heck are you?" And he said, "Darling, do you remember that little jewelry shop that we stopped at? And you fell in love with this diamond necklace? And I said to you, baby, you know, I don't have the money for it right now, but when I do, that's going to be yours. You remember that shop?" And she said, "Oh, yes. You know, I remember that." And he said, "Well, I'm in the bar next door." Okay. You know, she had to express a certain degree, a certain level of love to her husband at that point, okay? But you know, that's what family, friends, enemies are for. To call this love, this deeper love out from us. It's there. It's a spiritual gift we're born with, okay? And we are at work learning more about it and how to express it fully like Jesus did. There was a song that was made famous by a band called Foreigner. And it was this song was released in November of 1984. And it is, "I Want to Know What Love Is." It was written by Michael Leslie Jones, who was a British songwriter. And his claim to fame, not only writing this song, "I Want to Know What Love Is," but he was one of the founding members of this band called Foreigner. And some of the words, they actually speak about this discovery that we all want to make. It goes, I got to take a little time to think things over. I better read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. Now, this mountain that I must climb feels like the world upon my shoulders. Through the clouds, I see love shine. It keeps me warm as life grows colder. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. But I can't stop now. I've traveled too far to change this lonely life. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know that you can show me. I'm going to take a little time to look around me. I got nowhere to hide. It looks like love has finally found me. Let's talk about love. I want to know what love is. The song is going through my head, and I'm trying to resist singing it, okay, because I don't know it that well. Let's talk about love. We certainly can see it all around us. Taking a little time to see it all around us does wonders for the soul. We've all witnessed the healing power of love. There was an old movie, and this is a 1969 Elvis Presley movie, and it was called Change of Habit. And I just barely remember seeing it on videos. And Elvis Presley plays the role of Dr. Carter, John Carter. And he has undertaken the task to run a health clinic in a low-income district. And unbeknown to him, he gets some helpers in, 3 women who come to help him with this. And they're all nuns, but they're not supposed to know, no one's supposed to know that they're nuns, because the church there wants to help lift up the community. But they don't think that the nuns wearing their full habit is going to be a welcome sight. So they wear just regular clothes. So of course Elvis Presley does not know that Mary Tyler Moore, who's in this role here, that she's really a nun, okay, because she's posing as a nurse, okay. So he croons her with his love songs and all of this, okay, and of course love wins out, okay. But there is a scene in this movie that really caught my heart, okay. And in this scene, there's a little girl from the inner city. Her name is Amanda. And Amanda has closed herself off from life, from the world. She was abandoned as an infant, and her aunt has been raising her. But as she's grown, she's built a wall around her. And every year, she fortifies that wall until it has become a shell that has encased her. She doesn't communicate. And, the nurse, the Mary Tyler Moore nurse, thinks that she can help this child, bring her out, okay? Reach in and bring her out. And she decides that she's going to work with her with some objects. So she forces blocks, wooden blocks, into the child's hands and is trying to encourage her to place those blocks in one of those children's busy boxes things. Place the boxes in the slots. And it doesn't work. She resists this, okay? It doesn't work at all. And Dr. Carpenter decides he's going to give it a go because he senses in this child, because this child as an infant was neglected, he senses great anger and fear in this child. And he looks at how to get through these feelings. And he holds Amanda. And immediately when he holds her, she's kicking and she's flailing her arms around and she begins this woeful screaming, okay? And he continues to hold her and to say, I know you're hurt. I know you're angry. But I'm going to love you anyway. Be as angry as you want to be. And I'm still going to hold you. And I'm still going to love you. And it gets so bad that the aunt who's been watching this, she can't handle it. She has to be escorted out to the waiting room outside, okay? Because the child is kicking and screaming and yelling, okay, to be free. And Dr. Carpenter continues to hold her and continues to say these words and soothing. And Amanda begins to relax because she has gotten all the anger out and all the frustration out. And you know, I thought, we are so like Amanda so many times. God wants to love us, to bless us, to move in and through our lives. And we are fearful of the unknown, of the change, okay? We put up the walls. God moves through other people. Others come to reach out and to help. And we resist their help. Maybe because we don't feel worthy of their help, or maybe on a human ego level, I don't need your help. I can take care of everything myself. Okay? And I'm just fine. Okay? But we humans are made for community. We're made to involve ourselves and extend ourselves out into life. How else is God going to transform the world except through you and through me as divine love? I'm not really a big Elvis fan, but this scene really grabbed me. Amanda could not stand to be touched or held by others. And her aunt had tried to help her. But she needed to work these out, to get this out, and to see that someone would still love her, even though she had all this inside of her. And that's what Dr. Carpenter did. And this changed Amanda. This transformed her life. And again, it touched me because this miracle that happened in Amanda happens in our lives as well. I can remember times when I was going through something, and did I stop and get in touch with that presence and power of love in me? No. Sometimes we feel that we're hurting too badly for even God to work through us, and we forget we always have this greater love, because it's not out there. It's within us to call upon. I'm going to share another story that every time I think of this story, I tear up. There was a little girl, and she was about 6 years old, and she was basically dying from an illness. It was kind of a rare illness, but her brother had survived this same illness like 2 years before. And the doctor spoke to her little brother and told him that he could save the life of his sister by giving her his blood. And the little boy thought about it for a moment. He hesitated, and his lower lip began to tremble. And then after a moment of this, he brightly said, "Okay, Doc, I'll give Mary my blood." And soon the two children were wheeled into the operating room. Mary was pale and thin, and Johnny was the picture of health. Neither of the children spoke, but when their eyes met, Johnny grinned and winked at his sister Mary. And as his blood was siphoned into Mary's veins, you could almost see the new life and the renewal that was happening in Mary's body. The ordeal was nearly over when Johnny's brave little voice broke the silence, and he said, "Say, Doc, when do I die?" It was then that the doctor realized that Johnny thought that by giving his blood to his sister, he was losing his own life. And then the doctor understood why the hesitation and the trembling. I'm sorry. I just heard from my sister that my brother-in-law in New York passed away yesterday at 3. And I've spoken with Denise, my sister there. And it was a sudden thing. Adrian had been on dialysis for 2 years. And I was surprised to hear in email that They had found a kidney for him, and they scheduled him for surgery on the 2nd of January. And the transplant went very well. And my brother was healing. He works at home. He has done that for a number of years, even before he became sick. And he was right at it, working again. Prior to this, he had to be on dialysis like 3 times a week. And even when I went out to visit family in July because of my niece's wedding, we had to find a place where we could take Adrian for dialysis while we were out there. Adrian was such a special guy, Sagittarian like me, okay? Danger, 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 Will Robinson, okay? Always jokes, and he loved to kid my sister Denise. He called her Niecy. All right, Niecy? Just like that. Anyway, because I wondered, was it the transplant that he succumbed to? And when I spoke with Denise, she said no, it was a heart attack. So it's kind of difficult, okay? But this is what love does. It makes us vulnerable. Love breaks that shell that we often build up in us to keep ourselves from being hurt. Because when we close ourselves off like that, not only can we express God's love out, okay, but others expressing God's love can't express that in. We can't accept that and experience it within. So, like little Johnny, this deeper level of love calls for us to be willing to give up our life, to lay down our life for others, to be willing to give up our life of anger, our life of resentment, our life of unforgiveness. We must be willing to give up our life of guilt and shame that we've carried. And we must be willing to not place guilt or shame on others. This love asks us to be willing to give up our lives of pettiness and to extend ourselves to others in our world for healing. In these ways we are guided, and this is the kind of love that the world needs now. God bless you. Thank you.